It's Wednesday night. It's podcast night. We've got a good one tonight. It's me and Wilkie and Percy. Now, we don't do this very often, just the three of us, but Wilkie has wanted to do power ballads. So we broke it down a little bit. Tonight, we're going to do 80s hair band ballads. It should make for a good conversation tonight, and it will make for a really good playlist if you like this stuff. I've always thought that the power ballads were you had two camps: people that loved them and people that just freaking hated them.
True.
Me personally, I liked them.
I did too.
This was a way these guys could actually make money. They were pushed to do ballads back, especially in the 80s. MTV was just coming on the scene.
A lot of people make out like it was the power ballad was invented in the 80s, but
It was
It
not.
was not.
No.
Effect.
Yeah,
in the 80s.
I would say full effect. That's a good way to describe it. It did take full effect in the 80s, especially with MTV, as I mentioned before. And
This is why the guys buying the rock albums, but
the
girlfriends
girlfriends
are buying
them
it.
ballad. Yeah. And I will tell you, these bands made a lot of money doing power ballads. And they started charting. And what happened after they charted with the power ballad is that their back library was exposed and started getting played. Exposed?
No, library.
Library. I said library. I'm correcting myself. Library. That's like rivalry week. Can you say that? We just had that. Can you say it?
Rivalry. I don't have to say it because it's over with.
It is. Thank gosh, because just trying to say that all the time that weekend stuff. So we're doing power ballads. Hope you're listening. It's going to be a good one. Before we get started, let's thank our sponsor, Busted Oak Bourbon Society. You'll find us usually in the trenches on Saturday. We'll not be there this Saturday. Percy and Wendy have the bar, brunch, conference title games, and we are featuring Chris Stapleton's Traveler Whiskey here tonight, which can be purchased in a shot form or a drink at Busted Oak. So come check it out. And we've tried it. It's pretty darn good.
It is. It's really good.
Yeah. Want to shout out to Brindley's Family Pharmacy. They do a great job. Shop local. Use a local pharmacy. You'll get better service, just better care all over across the board, and they do a great job. Last but not least, our good friends at Spices Smokehouse Crackers. They keep us in crackers for us and our guests, and we really appreciate them. So, with all that being said, am I missing anything, Percy?
I just want to mention the cinnamon crackers were great.
Cinnamon crackers are great, yeah. If you see them in a store, and get some strawberry cream cheese or some form of blue cheese. It's really fantastic. All right, Wilkie, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, first, let's do it. Honorable mentions. No, Percy.
The first honorable mention is from a band called Warrant. And it was the second ballad from their debut album.
Okay,
And it's Sometime He Cries.
nice choice.
Most people will go with the other ballad from that album, but
Yeah, you'll probably hear that one mentioned.
and this song was about a woman having a child and basically her husband leaving after she had the child.
Wow.
And that was charted for them, but they just didn't make the impact that the other song
The
did,
other
which I'm not
song
going to
did,
mention.
Yeah, it will be mentioned, I'm sure. Well, I can say for sure.
And
Yeah.
my next honorable mention was a number one in U.S. and Canada in 1989. And it's from the group Bad English.
Good choice, man.
And it's When I See You Smile.
When I see you smile.
Baby, when I see you smile at
What
me.
that the babies guy?
Jonathan Cain and Ricky Phillips.
Jonathan Cain was in it. Yeah, absolutely. And he went on to join Journey. Yeah, good stuff. All right.
My last honorable mention is one of my favorite bands, and it's from Boston, from the Third Stage album, and it's a song that Tom Schultz wrote, and it's Can't You Say?
Can't you say? I thought you were going somewhere different with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
You thought that.
Yeah.
But to me, that's a really great song, and it actually made it to number 20
that album was good. There's a story behind that album. You know, they did Boston and then they did Boston Don't Look Back. They were under contract to do 3 albums. And from the time Don't Look Back came out and Third Stages, I mean, that had been maybe 5 or 6, 7 years, somewhere in that. And they were forced to record that one. And Tom Schultz pretty much just whipped it up in his studio and put together a pretty darn good album.
Was.
Cool the Engines, Amanda. That's where I thought you were going. That's what you should have
I
done.
remember buying when you used to go to the flea market and buy the bootleg. I had a bootleg copy of Third Stage.
Yeah. Good album. Good album. It came through, got off the hook with the record company.
And you know their original greatest hits in '97. Can't You Say was left off of it.
Wow, and it charted too.
Yes.
That's sort of weird. It charts, you would think, right? All right. Your honorable mentions?
That's there.
Good, Wilkie. Let's see what you got. It's your show.
All right. My first one is by a New Jersey band, Bon Jovi.
Absolutely.
I'm going with Never Say Goodbye.
Good choice.
I had two that I really leaning toward, but
Yeah.
this is off the debut, Slippery When Wet.
And, you know, I looked at a bunch of Bon Jovis too, and were as big in 90 and 91. They were sort of more of a late 80s,
They was.
except the debut album. So good choice for that.
And another one is Warrant, but it's the other one's first she's talking about. I had both of them too, but
Yeah.
I'm going with Heaven off the
Yeah.
Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich. It hit number 2 on the Hot 100. And then,
Yeah. That was a big hit for them. It's a big hit. That is their hit. I mean,
Yeah.
if you name one, it's Heaven. All right.
And then I'm going with a group that people make fun of because of Beavis and Butthead.
Oh boy.
But I'm going with Winger.
Like Kip Winger.
And I'm going for Headed for a Heartbreak.
Okay, that's a good song.
And a little fun fact about Kip Winger, he studied classical music.
You know what he ended up
And he-
doing after he left Winger?
And he played,
No,
When he left Winger, he did scores for porn.
oh, didn't know that.
that's really weird.
But I do know he played on 2 albums and 2 tours with Alice Cooper that did baseball.
Oh wow, that's cool.
I seen a little documentary on Hair Band or something. He was
Right.
talking about it.
Good story behind that. Scores for porn.
Yes, Kip Winger when Winger
can
broke
talk to
up.
Or that. I mean, in the 70s. I mean, really never watched any porn. I didn't. The 70s
scrambled.
But I heard it was scrambled on the TV every now and then. You saw something.
Well, he probably figured out it was a wise move to start dealing with women who are adults instead of
17.
those 17-year-olds.
Yeah, that's probably a good call for you, Daryl.
Might be the FBI said, Kip,
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
yeah,
Get the little nerdy boy next door with a Winger shirt on. Beavis and Butthead and give him a bad name.
yeah, he definitely did. All right, what else you got, Luke?
That's my 3.
That's your 3.
Yeah.
All right. Me, I'm starting out. It's from, I think it's their only slow song. Well, not really, because there's another one that I would have loved to have put on the list, but it came out in 1990, and to me it was their biggest hit, and it was November Rain. But prior to that, it didn't come out in the 80s. GNR Lies came out, and I'm going with Patience. And I was in college, and everyone loved that song. It was just something so non-typical because
to me, that song, but they were like, Guns N' Roses were like basically a hard rock band.
they were a hard rock.
When they came out with that song, and especially the video had a good setting, it showed me that Guns N' Roses had some versatility.
They did. As far as the musicianship was always good, but they were able to slow it down, and this is acoustic, and they showcased themselves as something that.
I mean, I didn't care for the
everybody
video because I got a phobia about snakes, but
Right.
They said I read somewhere they shot that video in the hotel where RFK Jr. got assassinated.
No kidding. See, I didn't know that either. Pretty wild stuff. All right. It's a good song.
Great song.
Yeah. All right. My next honorable mention is it's a guilty pleasure band. It's the Scorpions. Now, not everybody thinks that the Scorps are hair metal. But they were Germany's version of hair metal, in my opinion, and they had a couple great ballads. But I'm going with "Still Loving You," which is that is my favorite Scorpion song. So anyway, I love the song. I can't remember the video. I know the album cover was smoking.
Well, you could say the top German hair band, but I don't think there was a whole lot of competition.
They were the only German hair band, I guess. If we dug into that, we'd find one named like.
Strange affection to burn lyrics, or
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Anyway, I like the song, so I
No, there's a Finland.
want to listen to that. Finnish hair band. That's got to be absolutely terrible. All right, my last honorable mention, Whitesnake. I mean, I could have gone with "Is This Love," but I really hate that song. I thought it was trash. So I'm going with "Here I Go Again," and it's not really a ballad, but it qualified in my book. And the video, oh
but
my
it ended up being a sad ballad when Chuck Finley beat the hell out of
yeah,
Tony Katane.
yeah, that was not necessary.
But he played for the Indians.
Yeah, yeah. Losing team.
You know, she was on the cover of a Rat album.
Man, everybody was trying to get her back then. I did not know
So she
was.
dated somebody with Rat before she went over to
Yeah, she's
cover
right.
Rat.
I mean, she was sort of like the Marianne Faithful of
Yeah.
80s hair bands. Yeah, I guess so, right?
That's right.
She was something else. All right, honorable mentions out of the way. Let's get in the top fives. Percy, what you got?
My number 5 is from the Theater of Pain album
Good one. Man, you're gonna steal one.
from 1985. And this song, I got to see them do it live at Oak Mountain Amphitheater in Alabama. And it was the last song that they did. And everything went dark. And about halfway up through the amphitheater, they appeared beside the piano.
Oh boy,
Wow.
And the lights came back on, and they did "Home Sweet Home."
that's such a great song.
Mhm.
Yeah, good
And
choice.
that's my number 5. That Theater of Pain album cover. It was simple.
Yeah, it was simple. Having two theater masks on there. Yeah, it was
I
great.
remember coming home from school back then. We MTV actually still played videos, and that was on video about every afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. It was very popular.
Right.
Man, that was a great time to be alive.
Yeah.
So, what you got for your number 5?
My number 5 is from the debut album from Poison, from Look What the Cat Dragged In. And I'm going with "I Won't Forget You."
Okay, it's a good one.
Because I love that song. And I seen where they quit playing it live in like '88 and didn't play it again until like 2003.
Huh.
But it was like a number 13 hit.
Now, did Brett sing that when he came to Albertville? Or, excuse me, when he came to Albertsville.
No,
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. Boy, that was we had 40,000 people in our streets.
But I love that song.
And he couldn't get the name of our town right. And he even broke out in the song. Remember that? He had a harmonica.
yeah, but he gave everything he had.
He did. The guy had blood sugar problems that night. God, I remember being on speakerphone with me and the mayor and Brett Michaels because we didn't want him at first because we heard he was a shithead. We heard he was an asshole. So that got back to him that's what we had been told or heard.
Yeah.
He arranged a phone call and said, guys, I'm all about the veterans. I'm about giving to your community. I'm all about playing my heart out. And he sold us. And when he came and played that, he
did a good show.
He did everything he said he was going to do. And he did a great job.
For sure.
And that's a good segue because I picked Poison for my number 5. And of course, I'm going with "Every Rose Has Its Thorn." Really wanted something to believe in. That came out in '90.
That's a great song.
Yeah, that's my favorite Poison song. But we'll go with "Every Rose." That's going to work. All right. Rounding the bend, Percy, number 4.
My number 4 is a song that somebody had to remind me of at work that it came out in '89. And it's from the GNR Lies album. And it's "I Used to Love Her."
That's
I had to kill her.
She
That
bit
is
so much, she drove me nuts.
Yeah, God, that's a great song.
That's a great
I have not thought about that one in a long. Yeah,
balladish, but I'm like, yeah, it's ballad.
yeah, it's balladish. Yeah, I mean it's borderline.
But it's a good murder country song.
Yes, no, he did not. Good choice. Whoopi, what you got?
Well, mine's already been said, but it's also from the GNR Lies, and it's Patience.
Yeah,
Because I just love that song. It's about Axel, and did you know he was married to Don Everly's daughter?
I did not.
Everly brother.
I never knew he got married. That surprises
She
me.
must have been stupid.
Yeah, because he's not a marrying type.
She didn't think so, but they said that's about their relationship.
Huh. Little patience. She
Yeah,
probably needed
he was
a
telling- He
a
was
lot of patience with his
Her, she needed some patience.
deal with him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Little fun fact on this one. When they performed this at the American Music Awards to tape it, Adler, the drummer, was in rehab.
Yeah.
So Mr. Don Henley stepped in on drums for that song.
Okay.
Okay.
Crazy. I didn't know that.
I don't know if you got
That's
a
an
cover.
unlikely bunch right there.
True.
GNR featuring Don Henley.
I don't want to step on your
funny to Walden Woods.
but I don't want to step on your toes or nothing, but Rick Cornell did a great cover of this song. It was released in 2020. After it
Once have now I'm gonna make sure I have later tonight though, because Cornell touched it. It had to be good. For real. For real. We're all agreeing. My number 4 band's been mentioned, and it's even been mentioned. It's Heaven by Warren. I mean, that was epic. That was their song, you know. So enough about that one. We are at nitty gritty time. Percy, what's 3?
My number 3 is by Lita and Ozzy,
Oh boy.
and it's Close My Eyes Forever.
Great choice, man.
I mean, that, to me, that's one of the
That's
greatest.
the only way Ozzy was going to make it on this list
Mhm.
is with Lita, to me.
And it was their both of them highest charting song.
Yeah, yeah. Great
You know,
tune.
Alice Cooper tells a story about Lita. He's like, he said, I told Lita, you've got talent. You can play, you can sing.
Yep, she had the look.
You don't have to act like all these girls. And he said like a week later, he said, I turned on MTV and she's down on all fours licking a guitar. Gives me ugly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That's the thing.
I know that's
That's the leader.
choked up here. That's funny. All right, fucking action. Three for you.
Number 3 for me is The Crew. They come off the '89 album Dr. Feelgood,
Okay,
and it's got Mick Mars playing a little steel guitar on the solo,
I like that.
and it's about the relationship with Tommy Lee and Heather Locklear, and it's Without.
Without, that's a good song. I haven't heard it in a long time.
Yeah.
Something tells me though, this you started working on a playlist already. haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty. You're either going to really love this playlist, or you're just not going to turn it on. I would say give it a shot
Yeah,
because this is
absolutely.
going to be a lot of fun. It's
Yeah,
going to for people in our age area.
Oh yeah.
Um, but this is a genre, if you would, subgenre that we all experienced at the same time.
You picked out a song by Motley Crue that Tommy wrote. I thought you was going with something like Driving the Boat.
They need to keep that man off boats,
But even if you
and he doesn't need to go swimming and doing the backstroke. No
Well,
dancing.
No, he just needs to
He has the extra paddle.
get rid of the video camera.
Anyway, maybe they make money off of that, but
But even if you think this music may be cheesy, you need to give it a shot again because it's not as bad as people thought.
no, it's not. When you go back and listen to it again, you're like, that's pretty good stuff. Because we don't have anything like that today. So if you're a young listener to music and you happen to back into the 80s and listen to power ballads, you're going to go, well, that's some pretty good stuff. I would
There
think.
was a song that I listened to this week, and I'm not going to mention it because somebody might still have it, but I thought, you forget sometimes like how
Yeah,
good a song
yeah,
it was.
Yes,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, absolutely correct. All right, number 3. It's me. It's Sister Christian, Night Ranger. That's another band we've had here. Um, the funny thing about them, they hate each other. They all travel separately. They do not travel together. Now, that may not have been the case then. I hope it wasn't the case then.
Wow.
But now they travel separate. They'll show up, they'll play their gig, and they'll leave separately.
So that's
Sort of
evil, though.
sad.
Now, didn't the drummer sing that song?
Yeah, Kevin, if I can remember his last name, I think it started with a K too, but he was the best voice in that band. Jack Blaze was pretty good, but he was the best voice. And they had some other ballads. Sentimental Street was good. Goodbye was good. They tend to really like the ballads. So that's my number 3. Percy, number 2 for you.
Number 2 is a band that actually got mentioned in our pregame festivities, and it's one of my favorite songs of all the hair bands. And it's from L.A. Guns from 1989, and it's Ballad of Jane.
All the Chain, yeah.
And it was basically a one-hit wonder for them.
It pretty much was.
And
They didn't have much of anything but that.
and from the way they spelt it, Jay, and a lot of people thought that they wrote it about Jane Mansfield.
Yeah.
But that a few years later, that myth was debunked,
Mhm.
and they didn't write it about James Mansfield. It was about one of his girlfriends or something that they had wrote it about. But it sounds good when it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think sometimes when those stories get started, the best thing you can do is just shut up, and let them grow.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sounds right. For sure. All right. That's a good one. Wilkie,
My number 2 is probably one of my all-time favorite
I know what you're going to say.
hair bands.
I know what you're going to say.
D,
Yeah.
D,
You want me to guess it?
I know the group.
I know the group.
right? What's a
Your
good?
number 2 is going to be exactly my number 2.
May not.
You're going with Cinderella.
I am going with Cinderella.
That's a group. I know that.
That's great. All right.
I'm going with Coming Home.
See. Okay. I wasn't sure. That's their other.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Because that's I thought about the other.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple others. I had one from the previous album.
Yeah.
It's Coming Home. I just love it. It's a little bluesy.
Yeah.
It's
I'll go on this island and say that of all the hair bands,
Cinderella was the best.
Tom Kiefer had the best voice.
Tom Kiefer did have, but that's really a compliment because to pull off these ballads, these guys all had pretty incredible voices.
Mhm.
Can't think of someone that's on anybody's list doing a ballad that was like, man, it was great, but they had their voices shitty. No, they all had great vocals, but Tom Kiefer was the daddy to me.
I've got that
Good
on
call
vinyl. I
that
sat there and
person.
listened to it the other night. It's not a bad song on that album.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, I picked the other one. You don't know what you got till it's gone by Cinderella, and I just always love that song.
Me
No
too.
matter.
But we've talked before, and I knew you'd had that one.
Oh yeah,
So I'm Coming Home.
good for you. All right, down to number 1s. Percy.
My number 1 was, we already talked about this, and it's, like I say, this is one of my favorite songs from the decade. And we already talked about how much I love Cinderella, and this is from 1986, and it's Nobody's Fool.
Right.
Base Fool. Yeah. I mean, Cinderella is just over this thing. That's good.
Tom Kiefer said it was a song for falling out of love experience. And he said, it wasn't just basically one experience. It was just kind of a culmination of several different experiences. And it was like to the boiling point.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, now I'm nobody's fool.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm disappointed. I watched the documentary on Paramount Plus called Nothing But a Good Time about 80s hair metal.
Mm-hmm.
Cinderella was not mentioned at all.
Wow.
I don't know. It was a 3-part. I'm like, crap. Wasn't it?
I appreciate you telling me that, because I will not watch that.
Yeah, I wonder if they're not in it. Mm-hmm. All right, number 1.
My number 1 has already been said, but it's bad English. When I See You Smile.
Good choice, man.
I just always loved it. It was between that and Cinderella, but I just love this song. And I always wanted, John Wayne. Oh, bad English. But I heard this playing by pool one night, and one of the guys said, that was some pretty bad English you put on that cue ball. And they said, hey, that's for a band.
Yeah, bad English.
And I thought, oh, that makes sense.
Another story behind it.
Neither, but that's
They only have like 1 album, is that right?
I had 2.
Okay, so
But like after the second album come off, they done broke up. So
pretty much. released after they were
They had a
gone.
couple of Journey members and some Baby members.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a super
pretty
group.
much.
I had the single. It's like weird how certain the singles stick out, but I had that.
Yeah, it was great.
I had that single.
Good ride around Boaz music trying to pick up the lady.
A lot of people don't want this thing like a cassette that has an A side track and a B side track.
45 per cassette.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
basically that's it.
And had CD singles after that.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Well, when they first started coming out with the CDs, and I'll say this, there was some like I've got a Led Zeppelin CD single because it was at the time when I ordered it, it was the only way that you could get "Hey Hey What Can I Do" was on a CD single.
Good song.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Good stuff. My number one's been mentioned, and it is my number one. It's "Home Sweet Home," Motley Crue. That just rules the roost for me. Um, Vince Neil, I think, did a great job on vocals, and you don't see the crew toning down too much, and they did a great job with that. And it was a big hit for them. It was a big video. I don't know if that won any video awards or not. Not sure, but it was a great video as well. All right,
When it became a big concert.
favorite. It was
Yeah.
definitely a fan favorite.
Yes.
Definitely a fan
Yeah,
favorite.
your lighters.
Yeah, break out the lighters. Now we break out the telephone. I would make sure I always had a lighter when I went to a concert. So I don't even know if they let you bring one in now. I hadn't tried that. Try it next time, Percy.
They didn't stop us when we went in it. PLO.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Not that we needed a lighter.
It was cold that night.
Yeah, it was cold. We need to start a
It
fire.
was cold that night.
Yes. All right. You got a Percy's pick this week?
I do, and it's debatable. I think to everybody really what is a ballad, but this I thought this was just an interesting cover of the band. It's Faster Pussycat.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
They covered "You're So Vain,"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Probably Simon.
and I thought that would be
That's weird.
that was such a weird song for them. Why did they pick that
I
song?
don't know. I can't wait to hear it though. Is it good?
It's not horrible.
Okay.
The thing about it is you have to get your mind around that it's just totally different.
Only
Sometimes,
thing that's the same with the lyrics.
sometimes that's hard with a cover. But
It
it's
is.
just when you've heard a song forever and then somebody does it totally different.
You're So Vain, I'm figuring was about 74, 73, 74.
Faster Pussycat had a ballad too. I thought about putting on here.
They did House of
House
Pain.
of Pain.
House of Pain.
Got a little Mom Kenny stuff.
Wow. So,
And it didn't get mentioned. I thought one of y'all would have it.
what's that?
Skid Row, I Remember You.
Yeah, Skid Row had I Remember You and 18, I guess.
And a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll make the playlist though. Playlist will be out. Will it make playlist? Skid Row?
Yeah.
Yeah. Playlist will be out tomorrow, Apple and Spotify at some point.
Well, Apple will be about mid-morning, and it'll be later on tomorrow evening or maybe the next morning before we get Spotify. And then probably it'll be Thursday or Friday before we get the video podcast uploaded to YouTube. And I want to let everybody know that listens, there are links in the show notes
Right.
to the Spotify playlist, the Apple playlist, and a link to the YouTube video podcast.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to let everybody know because we do get requests or questions. How do I find your playlist? It's usually pretty easy, but if you look at the show notes, or by the way, if somehow you're listening to this and you're not following us on Facebook, please follow us. Follow us, like, share, follow, help us grow the show.
You can also follow our playlist on Spotify and Apple.
Absolutely. Yep. And we get most of our listeners, and it's up there, guys. I'm not going to brag, but it's up there. And a lot of these listeners come from Spotify, from Amazon, from iHeart. They're coming from all the streaming services. So we'd like to tell all our Facebook followers to, hey, share our stuff, help us grow. And we appreciated everyone that's been on here.
And there's only 2 weeks of brunch left.
Yeah, 2 weeks of brunch left at Busted Oak. This Saturday and the next will end on the Army-Navy game.
And after that, we go back to taking over the music.
Yeah, go back to taking over the music and playing our playlist. And it's still a good time. The only difference is no brunch. You can still get bootleggers, pizza, or sandwiches. We'll open at 11 instead of 10. And it's a good time. And you can always come up there and we'll play the playlist and we'll sling some drinks for you. All right. So good job, Will. I'm glad we got this one nailed. And before we go, Preston, you got anything you want to say?
I just want to tell everybody one thing they can always count on. We're kitty but consistent.
Yep. And all I got to say here,